business. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So we left off, we got the scratches, and we were going to do some coffee stains. So we had this coffee layer. And now, with this one, I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate with where my stains are going to be because they're not going to be generic over the whole surface. You know, before we were trying to do like some nice randomized stuff, and then we just had some control on top of it. Here, I'm pretty much going to stick with just the paint layer, but I'm going to really get into the brushwork now. So we actually already got this. So I just want to add paint. So now what I'm going to do is there actually is a good brush to start out with. So where is it? It's down here. Spots. There we go. So we can actually make this look about the same size. And if we paint with it, we get nothing. Why do we get nothing? Hang on. Let me check my brush settings. Minimum flow, that's why. So we get like this effect. And that is actually telling me something. It's telling me that my base layer has not got enough contrast in it. So change that color. Oh, okay, fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my ring about the same size as my cup. I'm going to adjust my spacing. What do we need here? I don't want size jitter. I do want flow jitter, but only about 50%. Angle jitter, yes. Position jitter, okay. I don't want minimum flow. Size, no minimum size. We don't have a minimum size. We don't want size to change. So then we're going to go ahead and we are going to add in a few coffee rings. There we go. Oh, I accidentally scaled that. And let's put some over here as well. Maybe our thermos holds coffee sometimes. Okay. Now, I'm also going to use a little trick here. So I can go in, and you'll notice there's an alpha on a lot of these brushes. I'm going to replace this with an alpha I brought in. And so that's going to give me a little bit more of a controlled alpha. And so here, that'll give us this nice little splat effect. And I'm only going to use it a few times because it is a little too specific to use every time. So there we go. And now I want to make sure that our roughness is different. So now check this out. If we rotate our light, look at that. We can really see those stains in the light. So see how our detail is subtle, but under certain conditions, it's very obvious that it's there. Taking a drink of my breakfast smoothie. It really tastes the banana. Okay, so there's a couple of more things I want to show off. Let's do a dust layer. So I like to give my dust just a little bit of yellow and no height, definitely some roughness. No metal. And of course, a black mask. We're going to use a smart mask. There's a bunch of dust ones. Should I just dust? What do I want? Let's do dust soft. That's nice. What about surface dust? That is not what I was going for. Dust subtle. That's pretty good. We can have those work together. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to wipe away at that dust. So actually our coffee would be on top of the dust. So again, somebody has tried to clean up a little bit at some point. So I'm going to add the fill. And we're going to go to procedurals, grunges. And there's this nice wipey texture that I really like. So grunge wipe. So we put that in there. And I'm going to scale it down, not that much. Yeah, nope. All right. 1.2. What does 2 look like? Yeah, 2 is pretty good. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to turn this to subtract. Where is it? There it is. So there we go. So we kind of tried to clean up the dust. Again, subtlety is always the key here, right? If we look at our channels, you can really see the difference in our roughness map. Maybe we need more roughness on our dust. That is possible. You know, and maybe I need to add another layer. So we do a fill, and it should be underneath my wipes. But maybe I need to add like another little bit of I think honestly it's going to be this dirty one. So let's add this dirty. I'm going to lower the opacity on it because I don't want it to be too powerful. And then we'll change that to light and max, so it's adding on top of what we already have. And, we could always adjust this and increase the contrast. We're getting a little bit too much of our dust being wiped away. We want to be able to see it after all. We do want it to look like someone's made an effort to clean up. There we go. I like that. What do you guys think? Anything else we should do to our desk? What do you think? We've got scratches, we've got coffee stains, we've got dust. I'm not hearing a lot of suggestions, so we're going to move on. Now, we need to do our drawer. And this is not something I want to spend a lot of time on because we've just built a material. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to create my own smart material. So everything here is using a bunch of settings I've already created to work with our desk. So I'm going to name this folder. This folder I'm putting it in, I'm going to name it desk 2021_4. And I'm going to right click and just go to create smart material. So what this now does, and you can see that I have a couple from previous classes in here. I should actually delete these. Is now that we have this smart table, or this smart material, we can actually just go to our drawer, which has nothing on it, and we can delete that, drag this over here, and it has the exact same material. Now, again, there's that UV problem, but we can still adjust this. This gives us just a starting point. I'm going to go to my base, and I had this all planned out. So I got this darker cherry wood, and I'm just going to replace that in here. There we go. And now my dust looks a little bit too strong, it looks like, because I think that's the dust. Yeah, it is. So I can go in here and be like, all right, well, now my dust is clearly too strong. What? Oh, my things went away. Foot scuffs. Oh, I used the wrong material. That'd be why. Just delete that. There we go. That's the one we just created. So then we'll go to our base. Get our new wood. All right. And as you can see, yes, our dust is too severe. So we're going to go in. We're going to go to, I'll probably actually turn this one off. $2012 desk wood. Hang on, guys. Something was those other materials in there. They messed with me. We're going to delete. We're going to go back to our desk base. Create a, oh, that's why. It's over here. Wow, I have a bunch of these. Here's the 2021. Okay. So there we go. And now should be able to change this wood and it will work the way I want it to. Yes. So I'm always going in and I'm like, I don't remember making these layers. I mean, I did, I just made them months ago. So here, you know, maybe I just turn this down a bit. But overall, it's pretty much the same, except for this stupid UV thing. Grr, it drives me nuts. Okay, also got some stretching here, got to deal with. It's unfortunate. So there we go, that's our desk with the stupid UV stretching on the texture that drives me nuts. The last thing I want to focus on is I want to do this thermos. So for the thermos, I go over here. We are going to use a base material. We could just make our own metal, but they've got a metal that has the correct like index of refraction and everything. She's going to do steel. So I got steel rough. Let's use steel rough. There we go. And we can actually control the roughness, so I can bring it all the way down. Give it a little bit of roughness, though. I mean, all this is really doing is controlling the roughness. So there we go. That'll be useful later when we do our enteroscopy. That plastic ring, hang on. Plastic ring, where are you? Here it is. So just going to give that a base material so it's not bugging me. Not even going to bake it out. Just want it there. So I'm not super exact with it because I'm not going to save it. It's just there so it doesn't bother me. All right. So there's our basic steel thermos. We don't have the enteroscopy. We can't do brushed metal in Painter, but it's okay because the material in Arnold will just take care of it. What we are going to do is we're going to put the logo on. We're going to adjust the, we're going to adjust the metal and give it a little bit of roughness as well. So first step, logo. We already know how to do this. We're just going to add a layer. Actually, what is this? Steel paint? Let's try steel paint. I want to see what this does. Actually, maybe better. What is it? It's just a basic layer. Okay. And we could change the color, but we actually want it to be that color. So, of course, we're going to use a black mask. And we've got our AAA logo right here. I'm going to put that in our stencil. And we're going to hold S. Just kind of move that where it needs to be. Let's check our reference. We do have reference for that. Where is it? There it is. So it needs to be about halfway down and a little bit larger. And then we can just, oh, I need a new brush because I still got this one. Brushes, dirt, 2. Oh, can't do that. Okay, gotta do it this way. Getting some texture stretching. So where is this? Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm satisfied. All right. So that's our base, but now I want to do some rust because the big thing here is now if we go to the metallic channel for the first time, we have metallic information. And of course, the paint is not metal, but I want to give it a little bit more contrast between the metal and non-metal. So I'm going to add some rust. And there actually is a really good material for this. There are 2 rusts. Both are really good. I'm going to use rust coarse, and we're going to put it on the top. And this is what it looks like. But of course, we're going to use a black mask. And I'm going to use a smart mask. There's a bunch of rust ones. So there's the default rust. There's rust drips. Surface rust, which I always like surface rust. I like to add that one in. Cavity rust. That one, wow, that does a bang up job. You guys are like, wow, did he dip into like the 1920s? Edge rust. Now that I fixed these UVs, these are actually working really good. Okay, let's start with cavity rust because that was kind of fun. And I'm going to add surface rust just because it gives it like a nice everywhere rust. And we're just going to go to Light and Max. Well, let's go to this base one. And we will adjust the settings. I'm really just impressed with the rust that we're getting out of that cavity rust. I don't think I've used that one before. I like that. It's just giving it like a spot at the bottom. Everything else is pretty clear, except for we have our surface rust. I really like that. I don't even know if I'm going to need to add a fill. So normally I would go in and I would add a fill to remove some of the rust, but I don't know if I'm going to have to. You know, I could do something like this with the spots. And then, of course, make it subtract. Not loving that. Yeah, I just like that. I'm just going to leave it like that. Normally I would do more work to it, but that's looking really good. You know, and it looks like it's been in a shed somewhere and it got just a little bit of rust on the bottom. You know, I could then go over here for the main rust layer. I could lower the balance, adjust the balance, adjust the opacity. Kind of like that a lot. Looking good. So we're just going to leave that. We're kind of done with the thermos already. Normally that takes longer. Okay. Now, technically, our project is now complete. I do, however, have one thing I want to show you that I didn't get a chance to show you through our normal stuff. Actually, we didn't do the paint that you guys wanted. So let's add the paint to desk base. So we're just going to add a layer. Let's see if they have one. I don't know if they do. Paint. Spray paint, steel paint, paint roller. I don't know. We're just going to make our own. So fill, paint. What is the roughness going to be? It's probably like that. Actually, it's usually pretty smooth. So we're going to have some paint, and then it will be a little bit of positive height. That's probably good. And I'm going to make it like a nice blue. I don't know why we were painting with blue, but we were painting with blue. And of course, we're going to add a black mask. See if there's anything I want to do here. Paint old. That would be if we were trying to paint the desk, which we're not. Paint damage. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do any there. Grunge paint scratched. Grunge plaster painted? I'm curious. No, we don't have any fill. Let's add a fill. Okay. Anyway, the real reason I even brought this up is because I wanted to show you guys something that's kind of fun and kind of awesome, and that's the particle brushes. So what particle brushes are they are brushes that are driven by a particle emitter to give you a randomized effect. So for example, if I was to take fire, this would basically burn up as if it was fire, and it would work the way something that would burn it would be. So if it burned here, you know, it would actually cause damage up here. If we spilled our coffee, we could have a big old coffee spill. Puddle, I think this one is more like it just gets wet, and so everything on the bottom will I don't know. Puddle I could never get to work. You know, there's fracture, as if it was broken glass. That's still puddle. So there you go. Laser impact. This one's always fun. That's still fracture. All right, come on. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try and do like a splat. Like somebody actually spilled some paint when they were doing some weird paint project. For some reason, it never got cleaned up. Oh, broken glass. This is what I wanted to show. That's still splat. Come on. See? There's this one, which I don't really know. It's like a Zerg infestation. Veins. So there's a lot of potential in them. But we could do the liquid stream. That's spilt coffee. Leaks. Not bad. I kind of don't like these two right next to each other. Can I? Yeah. Leaks heavy. Oh, because we're black still. So there we go. We've got a few spots. Again, I always like to just kind of. Oh, that's a good combo. So do the leak or do the splat. And get it like where you want the effect to be. And then go into the leaks, put it in black, and paint it out. I mean, it's still way too much there. Kind of went overboard. All right, let's just get a normal brush. Where is let's do the artistic. Why does this always do that? Stupid minimum size nonsense. There you go. Now we got little paint splats, which I think I got a little bit too much bump in here, which is fine. We'll just... There we are. Okay. All right, guys, I think we're done. We're going to bring all of that back in to Arnold. Well, to Maya. So What we're going to do is we're just going to go to export textures, and here's where you export your texture sets. I had a little bit of a problem yesterday, so I'm going to try doing this twice. I'm going to try both Targa and PNG. So we only need to export what we want to keep, which is the thermos, the desk base, the desk drawer. I was going to do the MacBook keys, but nah. The mug, we want to keep that, the plastic ring, and that's it. Always make sure to change the output directory to somewhere you actually want your textures to go. So I'm going to put it in our, not there, lecture. And I have a folder preset just for this in our source images. So we're going to do 2021-01. I'm going to do a PNG folder. Sorry, 04. There we go. Open. And we're going to do, there's one set just for us, Arnold AI standard. Actually, save settings really quickly. Forgot one thing. Chrome Thermos. You, my friend, do not need to be 1024. You can be 512. And you'll probably look fine. Let's check. Does it look fine or does it look garbage? Okay, actually, it does need to be 1024. I was wrong. And then desk drawer. You can probably get away with being 512 as well. I mean, we have the texture stretching, but there's nothing we can do about that because I didn't do my UVs correctly. I guess I'll leave that at 1024 too. All right, I guess they need it. All right, file, export textures. And we will got that set, export. Cool. So it should have made a directory with all of our images. And I'm going to do one more because I'm not really sure whether I want to do PNG or I want to do, where is it? Targa. So I'm going to make a new folder. (2021-04) TGA. I'm going to export again. Okay. All right, and we are done with Substance Painter. So sad. All right. Now we need Maya back. By the way, everyone, just so you have this, this is actually the resource I was using to figure out how to do textures in Arnold. So if you have any problems, here is the link. And here's our happy scene. the living room camera? Oh, shit. Really? Did I screw the pooch on that one? Did I? Well, that's just fantastic. I have to fix that later. So let's go ahead to our desk and let's start creating our materials. Now I'm going to use the hypershade so you guys can see how these hook up. Where's our desk? This is going to be the first one we do. We're going to do the desk. So here, first things first, color, file. And go into our substance textures. Try TGA first. Base color. Okay, here we go. And we should see it. If we don't, press 6. There we go. That is darker than I expected. Next up, we want to plug in our bump map. So go to geometry, bump mapping, and it's going to create this node here. Leave it on bump, but if you wanted to use a normal map, go to tangent normal space or object normal space. And I'm going to lower the bump depth to 0.1. And then here we will plug in our bump map texture, which is substance textures. Stick with the TGAs for now. Normal. There we go. And I do believe that, oh, I did the normal map. That's wrong. Height map. And we want it to be set to raw because it's a black and white map. There we go. Next up, we want to use roughness. File. And then here, we're going to go into our substance textures. This is the drawer. Base roughness. Okay. And we want this to be raw. And we want to go to color balance. Alpha is luminance. So here, probably not going to see anything in the viewport. Nope. That is our texture. You will notice we do have a metallic map, but it is useless. It is black because it is not metal. So here is our material network. You can see where everything is plugged in. All of these, the placement nodes should be default because when you're doing collage textures, you don't mess with this. The only thing we can mess with really is we can still mess with our settings. We could change the index of refraction if we had a plastic. We could, or a glass or anything like that. We can change the metal, but we're going to leave that on 0. There's no reason to unless we actually are doing metal. We could change the specularity, which right now is at 100%, which is probably not what we need. Let's put it on 0.5. It's typically where most things kind of fall. So yeah, that's looking good. Let's see what our render looks like. panels, perspective, and we'll do the desk still life. Make sure I'm on the Arnold renderer. Okay, let's go. This is the annoying part where we wait for rendering. By the way, guys, do I have any questions while we're just waiting for renders? There we go. I was like, is it going to do it? Our specular is too low. Well, we'll try that out when we do another render. All right, actually we can see some difference in our roughness. I'm digging that. A little bit of bump. Possibly a little bit too much bump. We're getting a lot here on the edge. Okay, that's enough. We could wait for the whole thing, but it's going to take a long time. So actually, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I might actually move the specular up a little bit. Maybe I lowered it too much. But let's go ahead now and we'll do the desk drawer. We're not going to render that one out because we know what it should be. It's pretty much exactly the same. So first off, color. And this is the same as you do any normal texture. Click on the color checker box, go to File, and then we just get our texture. Desk drawer base color. Still going to have that weird spot because our UVs are garbage. And then we're going to go to our bump map, File, lower this to 0.1, and File. What is going on here? Did I do the wrong one? I think I did the wrong one. Height. Change this to raw. All the black and white ones need to be raw. And then in here, we'll go to roughness, file, drawer roughness, and then the roughness needs to be alpha as luminance, and the color space needs to be raw. There we go. That should be fine. We're going to put the specular weight at 0.7, just like we did the other one. Actually, I think it was 0.8. No, it was 0.7. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to put the coffee mug on. I don't know why I closed that. So where is our mug? Here it is. Color. Targa. Base color. And bump map. File. It gives me the node. Good. Just switch this to 0.1. Put our bump map in. I don't know if we put any height in that one, but I don't remember. Did we? I think we did some in the coffee. Leave that on raw. Don't need alpha as luminance on the bump map. It's curious. I'm curious. Yeah, there is some detail in there. It's very hard to see, but it's there. And then roughness. Substance textures, TGA, roughness. And then, of course, switch this to raw, and alpha is luminance. See, when we switched it to raw, all of a sudden it came to life. Okay. Now, you'll notice we haven't plugged anything into specular. We haven't plugged anything into metallic. We haven't plugged anything into index or refraction. Is there a ceramic here? No. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll do another render. What are my Arnold settings at? Are they like really high for some reason? They are really high. course, now I can't make out all my nice texture details because my render's not clean enough. Curses. So I guess that says something about the render settings. If you want it to look good for your project, you should render with higher samples. Because lowering it makes it faster, but I can't see all that cool detail that we put in, our paint and our scratches. So frustrating. I can see a little bit of it on the drawers, thankfully. We can see our dust. We can see our bad UV spot. We can see that little chip of paint out there. That's the sort of detail right there, the attention to detail that makes people think, that looks real. So we are going to need to render those out with their good settings once we get everything where we want it. So finally, let's add our thermos. And so, like I said, we've already got all of our materials. So where is it? Coffee, desk, chrome thermos. Now, this one's going to be a little different. We're going to go to Color, File, Substance Textures, Chrome Thermos. That's our texture, diffuse at least. And let's go to Bump Map, File, 0.1. They should really just make the default 0.1. Nobody ever uses a full 1% bump map. No, wait, it needs to be at 1 when you use a normal map. So never mind. Height. And of course, we want to change this to raw. And then here, we'll do roughness. Same thing as before. Roughness. By the way, you do get a normal map, no matter what. Just ignore it. Be handy if you want to actually use it, but we're not using it. Alpha is luminance, switch to raw. And finally, because this one is metal, we're going to plug in a metal map. And the reason is, if we look at it, our metal map is actually doing a lot of work. Everywhere where this is white, it's going to be metal. And it's going to act differently. We also need to check alpha is luminance on this one, and we also need to set it to raw. There we go. And now, let's raise our settings a little bit. Let's leave this at 4. We'll just do 4.4. We can definitely see that. Now for angioscopy, we can still turn this to 0.95 and set this to 0.25, and we should still get our brushed metal look. And that should only affect the metal because you can't do angioscopy diffuse. Yep, our paint and our rust still look good. And notice we're not getting our specular highlight where the rust is. Pretty cool. What do you guys think? You like it? You excited to do some substance painter work? We're almost done. Oh, I think we're done. There we are. And then we just add our denoiser nice. Noise. That is the silliest name. Is it going to make me do it again? I want denoise. Oh, whatever. It's not worth it. All right, guys. So that was pretty fun. Put that in class demo. So that's pretty much it. There is one additional thing I want to show you guys, but this is kind of bonus. This is something I kind of mentioned before. We haven't figured out how to put in the class, but I do want you guys to see it. Substance Alchemist. So they launched this last year. You can see it's still on like version 2. And this software is just amazing. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to generate your own tiled textures using AI controlled texture generation. It's crazy. So I have a couple of materials that I made here myself. So for example, this one is one of my favorites. And I generated these in Substance Alchemist in probably about 40 minutes. It took me less than an hour for each one. And this was while I was still learning the software. So it actually is really quick to generate some really unique looking materials. The one I've been doing is like a ground material. But you can generate some new materials really, really quickly. One of the things I'm playing around with is getting a nice like embroidery thing going so that you guys can have like patterns. So let's see. Let's go ahead and create a new material. I can't figure out what to do with this chat window that's in the way. There it is. And so we'll just, by the way, all those materials that I was showing you could get from Substance Launcher, you can just bring them in and start working with them. But it's really good at blending two materials together. So let's start. Let's do a new material. And I'll start with rock. And here we go. We have some simple rock, I guess. I used to use slate. Yeah, rock's fine. And there's a bunch of these layers that you can play with. So my favorite one to use for rock is, there's so many. I remember. What was that? Floor tiles. What's floor tiles? Oh, well, that's fantastic. You know what? I changed my mind. We're going to do some floor tiles. Okay. Material scale. What does that do? All right. Pattern. Here we go. Hopscotch tiles. Ooh, that is a pain to make. Okay. Yeah, they love that pattern. And flagstone, of course. Let's do hopscotch. Okay. What else do we have here? Gap. Gap width. There we go. We can control the size of the grout. We can control the height. Gap roundness. That didn't seem to do anything. Bevel. Oh, geez. Age. Floor tilt. Come on, do it. Dirt. Ooh. That's nice. Floor tilt does not appear to be working. Maybe it's because of the height. Nah, floor tilt's not working. Okay, well, that's fun. Get less dirt. And then let's add a dust layer. Ooh, a lot of dust. Dust opacity. So as you can see, there's all of these sliders that you can figure out. Now let's use one of my favorites here. Actually, let's mix some materials. Let's get some mud. And so what we can do is we can play around with how they're blending. So we'll do, there we go. That's a lot of mud. So that's from height. You can do other options from top. That'd be silly. Blend opacity, contrast, top material scale. Forget how to change what type of a blend. Oh, here it is. So I could make it an AO blend. I could make it a curvature blend. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Custom mask, opacity, height. That's what we were doing. Normal. Let's leave it here. This is pretty cool. And then we're going to use a couple more that I love. Let's do, nope. Water. This is in a place you probably don't want to be. Water level. Obviously, they're going to go to kind of the same places as the dirt. Water darkness. You can make it light water, which would be hard to see unless you're at the right angle. Yeah. Or we can make it really dark. Edge wetness. There you go. I made a texture in what, 5 minutes? Scatter. So this is fun because I can then use the atlas And we could put in some rocks. That's way too many rocks. Okay, let's see here. Amount. Yeah, that's what I want to adjust. Lower the amount, please. And then tell me I can make this higher than 1. I can. 12. So there we go. We got some rocks, got some water, got some dirt. It's pretty cool. And let's save this because I'm pretty proud of it. Also, it's important to note this, if we were to export it out, would have all of the maps already created. And let's make another one. I'm going to actually try to do the embroidery, which is what I wanted to do when I got distracted. So let's make a new material. And this time, I'm going to start with a fabric. Denim. Yeah, we'll use denim. Or maybe not denim. Wood ash. Rock. Leather. Copper. Where is the fabric? Get rid of it. Oh, woven fabric. There it is. That's what I wanted. And we can change the color. Forgot about these. Lower the saturation. All right. That's our color. So I know you can use this to get patterns. Can't remember how. There we go. It's kind of working. I get more spam calls, guys. You would not believe. Oh. Spam again? So I need a little practice with this, but I might actually need to reverse that. Let's try. Let's. There's an image here. I didn't do what I wanted to. So, unfortunately, I think I need to do a little bit more studying on this. Okay. But I wanted to show you guys this just so you can see like what the tool can do. There we go. We've got our pattern, kind of. Yeah, actually, no, that does work. It does work. It's just a little weird. I mean, the offset is weird. We can change that. There we go. Material scale doesn't seem to do anything. I know what emboss distance does. Imperfections. So there you go. Those of you who have been wanting to emboss, that's how you do it. There's also this fun thing called the Inspire tab, where you can, I guess we're going with a different texture. You can use a reference image to sort of change the look of it. I'm not going to get into that, though, now that I think about it. So there we go. We made our emboss. This is just something I wanted to show off. You're not expected to actually use Substance Alchemist. It's just pretty cool. And I wanted you guys to see what it can do. Let's save our little embroidered corgi. You know, we could do more layers on top of this to dirty them up, all the classic Substance things, but that was a good start. I actually liked our little floor we made. That was fun. Oh, because we increased the tiling. Change that back to 1. All right, guys, I've kept you long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and end this lecture. Frank will be in Open Lab later today, and I will be on Discord if you guys need help with Substance Painter stuff. But for the most part, that is the show. Thank you guys for coming. And Tony Saxon will be back next Monday. Remember, online version only, no campus, because nobody's been showing up to it. So we will see you online on Monday for lecture 10, where I believe Tony Saxon's going to go over things like the layered texture, projection. I think he might do a remapper assist node or displacements or stuff like that. So for all you guys, I'm going to say good afternoon. Bye.